The show starts with Russ Willard, the founder of the Mercer Center for Experimental Physics, locally known as the Loop in Mercer, Ohio. He introduces the facility and explains its purpose to uncover the universe's mysteries that appear unbelievable to ordinary people. He mentions that everyone has a connection to the loop in some way. After the introduction to the facility, the focus shifts to a young girl named Loretta. In class, she finds herself distracted, gazing out the window at the impressive structures of the MCEP. Once school ends, on her way home, she pauses near a lake, playfully tossing stones onto the icy surface while admiring the scenery. Suddenly, she notices unusual movements in nearby pebbles. Curious, she listens intently and hears a low rumbling from beneath the ground. Despite feeling a bit unsettled, she continues on her way back home. Along her path, she becomes aware of a strange robot trailing her from a distance. Choosing to ignore it, she moves towards home. When she reaches home, Loretta overhears her mother, Alma, arguing with a man who accuses her of taking a piece of the eclipse, endangering Loretta. Alma asserts Loretta's ability to protect herself and asks the man to leave. Hearing this tense exchange, Loretta quietly leaves home, ignoring her mother's calls. Later that evening during dinner, Loretta confronts Alma about what she took, cautioning her against stealing. Alma clarifies that she didn't steal it but acquired it for an experiment. Loretta offers to help, but Alma insists it is too risky for her daughter. Loretta then asks about Alma's work at the Loop, but Alma suggests it is too complex for her to grasp at the moment. They then discuss the possibility of working together there in the future. That night, when the lights suddenly go out, Loretta goes downstairs to find Alma, who is absorbed in examining a glowing object on her desk. As the glow fades, the windows shatter, startling Loretta, who hurries back to her room. The following day at school, Loretta is pleased to receive a good test score. After classes, she waits outside the MCEP to show Alma her results, but Alma never arrives. Returning home, Loretta is shocked to find her house gone, replaced by a large circle in the snow with a strange black rock in the center. Concerned, she picks up the rock and tries calling Alma. She then dashes into the nearby woods calling for her mother. In the woods, Loretta encounters a boy named Cole, who is throwing stones at the same robot she saw before. She tells Cole to stop picking on the robot and ventures deeper into the woods. Cole decides to follow her into the woods. They discover an abandoned house in the middle of the woods which Cole believes to be haunted, but Loretta enters boldly. Inside, they witness a peculiar phenomenon where snow is slowly lifting into the sky. As Loretta places her hand, Loretta's house begins to disassemble and float away. Curious, Cole asks who Loretta is searching for, and she explains it's her mother. Cole offers to help find Alma. Cole learns from Loretta that Alma works at the Loop, just like Cole's own parents. So, he decides to take help from his parents and suggests they ask them about Alma. At Cole's house, he finds his mother talking to his grandfather, Russ Willard. Unable to interrupt them, Cole instead shows her his room where they meet Cole's brother, Yakob. Loretta notices Cole's father's artificial arm, but doesn't dwell on it. In their room, they discuss gravitational forces and black holes, sparking Loretta's curiosity. Loretta then shows Cole the strange rock she found at her former home, mentioning Alma took it from underground at her workplace. When Cole releases the rock, it floats mysteriously. They decide to take the rock and search for Alma at the facility where she supposedly works. However, when they inquire with the security guard, he denies Alma's employment there, which frustrates Loretta. Convinced it's a lie, she leaves in disappointment. The guard reports the incident to Cole's mother, who appears visibly unsettled by the news. Continuing her search for Alma in town, Loretta mistakes Cole's mother for her own. She leaves the bar after the incident and feels guilty for her mother's disappearance. Later, Cole takes her back to his home where she enters Cole's mother's room and finds the same test paper she intended to show Alma. Meanwhile, Cole's mother visits Loretta's former house site and realizes both her younger self and current self are existing in the same timeline. It is then revealed that Cole's mother is actually the adult version of Loretta. After returning home, adult Loretta asks Cole about the whereabouts of young Loretta. Cole informs that despite his attempts to prevent her from entering the room, the younger Loretta went through adult Loretta's room and then hurried off. Adult Loretta investigates and finds her in the abandoned house in the middle of the woods, where she discovers young Loretta singing to herself next to a fire. When adult Loretta enters, young Loretta asks about Alma and expresses frustration over not being able to see her again. Upset, she throws things around the room. Adult Loretta explains Alma's experiments and how they remain a mystery. She reassures young Loretta that life doesn't always make sense. Young Loretta soon realizes that adult Loretta is actually her future self. Adult Loretta comforts her, explaining that she now has a family and a home. She assures young Loretta that her future holds a new life waiting for her. She also discloses that Cole and Yakob are her sons. During their conversation about Alma, adult Loretta reflects that she never felt prepared to be a mother. Young Loretta mentions that Cole feels the same way about his own mother. They eventually head to MCEP, where adult Loretta guides young Loretta to the underground section. There, she shows her the origin of the Black Rock, a large black sphere known as the Eclipse, which is the heart of the loop. This sphere connects their two selves across time. Alma had taken a piece of this sphere to study its origins. As young Loretta holds the Black Rock, the part of the eclipse, it floats back into place within the eclipse. Loretta explains that this cycle will repeat itself, with future versions facing the same mysteries and unanswered questions. When young Loretta touches the black sphere, she suddenly travels back in time to the moment before her house vanished, but this time without the Black Rock. Meanwhile, Russ comes to the basement looking for answers from adult Loretta, who postpones the discussion until the next morning. Later, at adult Loretta's home, she tries to reconcile with Cole by giving him a pine cone, knowing he loves collecting them. She talks with Cole, assuring him of her presence and support in the future. In the following scene, Yakob sketches the familiar two-legged robot seen earlier, then walks to school with Cole. After the school ends, Yakob and his friend Danny go to the gym and lift weights together before hanging out in Yakob's garage. Unlike Yakob, Danny expresses interest in working at the loop, but can't due to his grades. He lies to Yakob about receiving a job offer from the loop. In contrast to Danny, Yakob finds it challenging to break out of his shell, especially when it comes to asking May, a girl from school, out on a date. Danny advises Yakob to take action without overthinking, but Yakob's shyness makes it difficult for him. Later that evening at dinner, Yakob's father, George, discusses Yakob's future as he nears graduation. When asked about his future, Yakob mentions his interest in pursuing drawing. However, his father dismisses it, considering drawing to be only a hobby rather than a serious career path. Loretta then urges Yakob to think carefully about which field he wants to pursue at the loop, emphasizing that time is limited for making such decisions. In contrast, Danny lives a more traditional life, painting barns and crushing rocks. Later that day, Danny and Yakob explore the woods and come across an old piece of rusted machinery, thinking it might be a sea mine at first. Despite Yakob's initial hesitation, Danny convinces Yakob to enter it. When Yakob steps inside, there is a sudden whooshing sound that intensifies. After a while, Yakob wakes up on the forest floor in Danny's body, and Danny wakes up in Yakob's body inside the machine. They realize they have swapped bodies. Terrified by the swap, Yakob urges Danny to return them to their original bodies. Danny goes back into the machine, and thankfully, they switch back. They discover the machine can swap the body, and it's reversible. Curious, they decide to swap again, this time for a whole day, to experience each other's lives fully. After their body swap experience, Yakob and Danny stroll through town, adjusting to their new lives. They encounter Russ but handle the situation without any awkwardness about their unusual predicament. The following day, Yakob, now in Danny's body, paints barns as part of Danny's usual routine while Danny, in Yakob's body, spends time at home. Yakob's girlfriend, Lauren, approaches him while he is working and invites him into the barn where they share a kiss. He awkwardly tries to show affection to Lauren, feeling out of place. Meanwhile, at Danny's house, Yakob, now inhabiting Danny's body, takes a shower and admires his changed appearance. Danny's sister interrupts him, but Yakob brushes her off, still adjusting to his new surroundings and identity. Later that evening at dinner, Danny's mother confronts him about his poor grades, explaining that this prevents him from pursuing a career at the loop. Recognizing this, she believes he should abandon the idea of working at the loop altogether. She suggests he consider his uncle, Henry's offer to work at the quarry as an alternative path forward. As Yakob prepares for bed, he is startled by Danny's pet spider. He handles it gently and places it back into its container. Meanwhile, Danny, now in Yakob's body, struggles with insomnia. He watches outside the window from Yakob's bedroom and sees his own body outside, adding to his disorientation and discomfort. It just turns out to be a dream. The following day, Yakob is eager to return to his own life, but Danny persuades him to spend one more day. They exchange stories about their experiences. Yakob recounts his conversation with Danny's mother about a job offer from Danny's uncle, Henry, which Danny urges him to turn down. Danny also shares his unsettling experience of having a dream where he saw his body outside the window while he was in Yakob's body. Later that day, while working on painting barns that day, Yakob notices Danny heading into the woods with May, a girl Yakob has secretly liked for some time. Curious, Yakob follows and unexpectedly witnesses Danny kissing May, causing him frustration and emotional turmoil. Angry and upset, Yakob storms to his own house and confronts Danny about catching him with May. Danny claims he was trying to do something kind for Yakob, but Yakob demands they switch back immediately. but Danny refuses. This leads to a heated argument between them that soon escalates into a physical fight. Yakob's father mistakes Yakob for Danny and kicks him out of the house, leaving him feeling betrayed and desperate. Distraught over Danny refusing to switch back bodies, Yakob rushes back to the machine in the woods. He climbs inside, desperate and hopeful that it will somehow force them to swap bodies again. Meanwhile, at Yakob's house, Cole asks Danny to help him draw a car. Yakob, uninterested in drawing, dismisses Cole's request. This interaction prompts Danny to look through Yakob's sketchbook and discovers various sketches, including one of May. Later, Danny gives May the sketch created by Yakob during their next meeting. Since that incident, Yakob has disappeared, missing his classes and causing concern among his friends. Warren asks Danny, who is in Yakob's body, if he knows Danny's whereabouts, but he pretends to be unaware. Later that night, conscious about his friend, Yakob, Danny ventures into the woods and discovers Yakob unconscious inside the body-swapping machine. Distressed, Danny calls for help, and the scene shifts to Danny's body lying in a hospital bed, now in a comatose state. As the night grows, Danny returns back to the woods and witnesses employees from the loop dismantling the body-swapping machine. Shocked by this discovery, he rushes to his own home and grabs his pet spider, taking it to Yakob's room. Along the way, he tries to communicate with his sister, but receives no response. Accepting the apparent loss of Yakob, Danny decides to continue his new life in Yakob's body. During dinner, he informs Loretta and George that he will accept the job offer at the loop, a decision they warmly support. When George suggests that he could continue his hobby of drawing, Danny dismisses the idea, stating that he no longer enjoys drawing. Later that night, as Danny tries to sleep, he hears a noise outside. Curious, he steps out and is startled to see the robot from the woods on the front lawn. In a moment of hope and confusion, Danny calls out Yakob's name. The robot blinks and quickly runs away. It appears that the body-swapping machine has transferred Yakob's soul into the robot. This unexpected turn suggests that Yakob's consciousness now resides within the robotic entity. In the next scene, May is at home, listening to a song that triggers memories of Yakob kissing her and expressing his love. She reflects on how these cherished moments always seem fleeting and wonders why they cannot last long. After her introspective monologue, May spends a serene day fishing with her father at the beach. During their outing, she discovers a rusted container in the sea and decides to take it home. As they wrap up their fishing excursion and head back, May notices a man on the tower of the beach, and they exchange tense glances before she leaves with her father. In the car on the way home, her father inquires about Yakob, and May responds with a blank fine. Back at home, while her parents are getting ready to attend a wedding, May remains preoccupied with the rusted container she found earlier. As she retreats to her room to get ready, she briefly glimpses her mother wearing a blue earring but doesn't dwell on it at the moment. At the wedding reception, May is seated with Yakob and Stacy, one of her friends. Yakob accidentally spills a drink on May's clothes, prompting her to excuse herself from the table. At the bar, she encounters Ethan, the man she noticed earlier on the beach, who offers her a handkerchief to clean up. They strike up a conversation, and Ethan suggests they take a stroll together in the nearby woods. During their walk in the woods, May notices Ethan's injured foot and asks him about it. He admits it sometimes causes him pain, and it has been the same forever. Ethan shares his thoughts about how time seems to move slower in the woods, allowing moments to stretch out longer. Intrigued, May asks to see Ethan's foot, and he agrees to show her. Their intimate moment is interrupted when Yakob and Stacy are looking for May, calling out her name. Ethan gracefully suggests that May should return to her friends, expressing his hope to see her again. May leaves Ethan behind as she rejoins her friends in the woods. As their relationship deepens over the following days, May finds herself drawn to Ethan's company, and they begin to grow closer, even holding hands. When Ethan questions if she is still with Yakob, May deflects the conversation by suggesting they engage in a diversion. She manipulates Ethan into helping her create a distraction for a man working on a truck so she can take something from there. Bringing Ethan to her house, May shows him her workspace. In the garage where she disassembles items as a hobby, Ethan shows genuine interest in her activities, commenting on how fascinating it is. Curious about May's personal space, he asks to see her room, and they move to her room. In her room, Ethan notices a drawing Yakob made of May and criticizes it. He tells her that he may not be into drawing and lacks skill in that area, but he believes she is even more beautiful than the drawing itself. They share a moment listening to music, and their bond deepens as they start kissing. Their intimacy is abruptly interrupted when May's mother unexpectedly enters the room and discovers them together. When May asks her to leave, her mother remains there, prompting Ethan to leave the room. That evening, May successfully activates the rusted device she retrieved from the sea. Upon snapping the silver bracelet found inside the container onto her wrist, time seems to freeze around her. Testing it at home first, she observes her parents frozen in place, unaffected by her actions. The following day, May takes the device to school and demonstrates it to Ethan after apologizing for the last day. She gives him the silver bracelet to wear and activates the device. Instantly, all the sounds from the hallway come to a halt. Ethan investigates and discovers frozen students and teachers in the corridor, including Yakob. May explains to Ethan that this device allows them to be together, freezing everyone around them. With the world around them motionless and silent, May and Ethan find amusement in exploring and interacting with frozen pedestrians on the city street. May proposes a playful and whimsical idea. Since time appears to be suspended, she wants them to have a physical relation in the middle of the street. Ethan is initially hesitant, unsure about the unconventional suggestion. However, May persuades him, emphasizing the unique nature of the situation. She argues that in a frozen world where time stands still, they have the freedom to create a memorable moment without any constraints. Ethan, swayed by May's enthusiasm and the surreal atmosphere around them, eventually agrees to join in the spontaneous gesture. Following this, May climbs atop a nearby car, where she shares a poetic sentiment with Ethan. She suggests that they can bask in this moment of frozen time together, embracing the idea that it can remain eternally perfect and untouched by the passage of time. For May, this extended moment of suspended time fulfills her desire for a lasting and uninterrupted connection with Ethan, where they can savor the joy and spontaneity without worrying about it fading away. They spend more than a month in the frozen time, enjoying each other's company in the suspended world. May seeks reassurance from Ethan, asking him not to leave her, and he promises her that he won't. Ethan then asks if May will end her relationship with Yakob once they unfreeze the time, but she responds hesitantly. However, when they try to turn off the device, it doesn't work. May thinks they need a new vial of the substance that powers it. Ethan gets worried and wants to fix it quickly. They head to the truck where they originally found the substance to power the device. Finding the truck empty, May then begins searching the man's house in hopes of finding another vial or any other helpful clues. Inside, she is devastated to find her mother and the man amid passionate lovemaking and being unfaithful to her father. This leads May to impulsively throw clothes out of the house, leaving nothing to cover them. Ethan enters the room and jokingly suggests they have a secret love, not realizing the involvement of May's mother. This sparks a heated argument between them, leading Ethan to storm off while May angrily passes comments on him. After a while, May searches desperately for Ethan, eventually finding him at the beach where they first met. She tearfully apologizes only to realize Ethan is frozen in time without the bracelet on his wrist. She repairs the device to restore time's flow. When the device is turned off, Ethan walks away awkwardly, and May, refraining from stopping him or repeating her apology, watches him leave. Over time, May lies quietly in her bed, storing the device beneath it inside a box. During a beach outing with her father, she confides her doubts about her relationship with Yakob. Her father offers wisdom, suggesting that sometimes the most meaningful moments are cherished because they are temporary. Back home, May places her mother's blue earrings, the ones she found at her secret boyfriend's house, on the bathroom counter in front of her. As May and Ethan go back to their usual routines, they unexpectedly meet on the street one day, where they had shared a special moment. May is upset with Ethan for not keeping his promise. They converse briefly, with Ethan trying to get her back by reciting the Chinese phrases he learned from her, but it doesn't sway her mood and she walks away. Seeing this, Ethan decides not to stop her, and they both continue walking in different directions, signaling an unresolved tension between them as they part ways. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave 1,000 likes or 100 comments if you'd like us to continue part 2. Thank you.